Okay, good luck to all. We're up to Pei Aleph, Amin Aleph, the Mishnah. We're going to be re-exposed to a sugya we saw earlier regarding if you buy trees, do you get the karka along with it? Obviously, if you do get the karka along with it and the tree dies, you'll be able to replant it. If you don't get the karka along with it, then if the tree dies, you're out. Says the Mishnah. If you buy two trees, right? Buy two trees, you don't acquire karka. That's not considered a sada, right? Obviously, three, you would be kind of karka. Three, you would be kind of karka. Rameya Aimer, kind of karka. Rameya is of the opinion, if you kind of two trees, you would be what? Kind of the karka along with the trees. And we'll see exactly in the Gemara how much that is. Okay. Higdilu, if the trees grow, now this is according to the opinion that you're not kind of the karka. So what's happening is your tree is now expanding, the branches are branching out, and it's shadowing, it's the karka of the balabas, obviously the moich, the one who owns the field. And now it's being mazik, the undergrowth that's underneath it, because the shade is not allowing it to grow. Can he cut it down? Higdilu, it says lo yashve, he can't cut it down. Says Rashbam, why? Lo yiktsais oisan bal karka. Right, the one who owns the karka can't cut the tree. Afa pisha had sail roll the base hashlachin, even though the shadow, the sail is bad for the irrigated field. The kivin the ain like karka lebalo ilonis. Since the owner of the tree has no karka, shari shibelei sadeu litzarich ilonis. I would take out the shin. In fact, I have a gersa here that does take it out. Your field is meshubid to these trees because he has no karka. So your field has to service the trees. And therefore, as a result, your field, the underneath that branch, is servicing the tree and you can't cut it off. It's called sarchan, whatever they need. That was the condition that you purchased the tree on. So you have the tree is the sole owner of the tree is the Bali Lanis. He owns no karka whatsoever. The karka, however, is meshubah to take care of these trees. Memela, if your branches branch out over the karka, the owner of the karka would not be able to go ahead and cut down those branches. Back in the Mishnah, let's say from the trunk of the tree grows out another offshoot. Shaloi, it belongs to the Bala Ilanis. It belongs to the owner of the tree. However, if the shoot, this new tree grows out of the roots, then shabala karka, because it's considered growing from the ground, and the ground is owned by the bala karka. So depending on the locale on the tree where this new appendage is coming from, that would go ahead and say who it belongs to. If it comes out from the middle of the tree, the geza, the trunk, then it belongs to the owner of the tree. If it comes out from the root, then it belongs to the bala karka. The imesu, and if the tree dies, ain't like karka, meaning he can't replant it. He won't be able to replant the tree. This is all when you're not koina karka. However, koina shleisha, if you koina three trees, and we're going to see, and we did see previously, it's in a certain amount of area, then it's considered a sada. So three trees is considered a sada. Obviously, you've bought the sada. You're getting the karka along with the trees. Koina karka, you are koina karka. Therefore, higdilu, if it grows, and it's shielding your karka, then yashve. Because your karka is not meshubah to the trees anymore. He has his own karka taking care of the trees. So your karka is not meshubah to take care of the trees, since he has the karka that's underneath the trees that the Bali Lanus owns now. Because again, it's three. So therefore, you will be able to cut it off. And now, the nafkamina we had above regarding the appendage growing from the tree, it's the same halachic, with the exception of if it grows from the shirish, it would be to the Bali Lanis, because the karka that the shirish is in belongs to the Bali Lanis. It doesn't belong to the Bala karka. Since he has karka, that appendage growing from the shirish would be belonging to the owner of the tree. V'mesu, and therefore, as a result, since he has karka and the tree dies, yeshle karka, and he can replant the tree. So we saw two halachas. We saw the halacha of 2 versus 3. In 2, we have a machlokes. Rabbi is of the opinion he does have karka. And the Chacham of the opinion he does not have karka, and the nafkaminas were again, could he replant it if it grows if it grows out, oh, can the owner of the field cut it down? If depending where it grows, a geza, an appendage, who does it belong to? Those are all the cases of two. Now it's amazing that there's a big sugya over here, and this is next week's parsha, or this week is the whole sugya of bikurim. There's a major sugya of bikurim that appears in the bikurim are the first fruits that grow after Shavuos, and in Eretz Yisrael, you bring them from only the 7 fruits, right? Chita, Soira, Geffen, Teina, all the 7 fruits of Eretz Yisrael that are described in the Devarim Ches, Pasuk Ches. In addition to that, there is sometimes you go ahead and you read. Not only do you bring it, but you read the Parsha of Arami David Avi. So there's 2 aspects. There's the aspects of bringing the Bikurim. You would bring it to the Kayin in a basket. He'd put it down. He'd wave it and put it down, and it belongs to the Kayin. It's a gift to the Kayin. Okay. Major sugya over here, and some very interesting halachas, which I think we'll digress and get into a little bit. Tanan Hasa, a Mishnah in Bikurim. Hakoyin shtei ilanos, again similar to us. B'toich shel chaverai. Now, do you own the fruit? If you own the tree, yes, but you don't own the land. Maybe ve'ena koira. You would bring it, but you wouldn't read the parsha. Says Rashbam, why not? The fishlei kona karka, v'lei karina be pri ha'adama asher nasata li. The pasuk, guys, in next week's parsha, Perech Chavav, pasuk Yud, it says, V'ata hine hevesi, I have brought es reishis pri adama, the first fruit of the land, asher nasata li, that you gave to me, asher nasata li Hashem, that you Hashem have given to me. Now, if there's no karka there, then you don't own the karka. You can't say that. You own a tree and the fruit is yours. But it would be not honest to say that this is the land you gave to me, because there is no land. There is no land. The land belongs to the owner of the field. It doesn't belong to you. So this is the exact same din as our Mishnah, just another application. We're not just applying the halachas of cutting down roots, or cutting down appendages, or who get where, depending where it is, or if it dies, can you replant it? We're discussing another halacha regarding bikurim. So you cannot, according to the Tanakama, you can bring it, but you can't read the parsha because you can't say Adam Hashem Asat Li Hashem. Reb Meir Omer maybe b'koira. Reb Meir says you could. Why did Reb Meir say you could? Because look at our Mishnah. Look at the Reb Meir Omer, you kind of karka. You kind of karka. So if you kind of karka, you could say Adam Hashem Asat Li. So apparently, guys, this is a total repetition of the Mishnah in Masechta. So you have a Mishnah in Bikurim, which is synonymous, the same achloikis between the Chachamim and Reb Meir. Mamish the same achloikis between the two. And the application is that whether you could read or not. Good. The Gemara now wants a taina. As a result, there's a big chiddush over here. Rav Yehuda Shmuel, Mechayev hoye Reb Meir, af beloikeach peris. Even if you would buy peris elon, even if you would buy peris elon from the shuk, if you buy it, okay, he takes out the words minashuk. Even if you'd buy peris, you, according to Reb Meir, you would bring it and read. Now that's problematic, obviously, because if you bought it, it's not from your land, correct? So why does he want to say this, guys? Because of the extraneous Mishnah in Bikurim. You didn't have to tell me this din that may be v'koira. That's obvious. Why is it obvious? Because he says here, Masechta Baba Basra, yesh karka. So of course, why should he be able to go ahead and read the parsha? Ella, you know what it's telling me in the Mishnah Bikurim? You know what it's being moisif? It's being moisif even if it doesn't come from your tree. Even if you buy it and you bring it, you can go ahead and read. That's what the chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda is saying in the name of Shmuel. The Mishnah in Bikurim is being moisif, a huge chiddush, that even if you bought the fruit, you can go ahead and do it. That's the chiddush over here. Let's see Rashbam, guys. Mechayev lehevi Bikurim b'leikeach peris shebe'ilan v'oisa shebichra tchila, the first fruits that ripened. Gemi, they would take some type of rubber band, tie it around the tree, lay the shemav keresi to know that it's ripe. The haidik tani hakoinish neilanois Why did you learn? Again, why did you learn? Tell me a bigger chiddush. Why do you say someone who has two ilanis in the Mishnah Bikurim? Tell me if you buy it, guys. Always tell me the bigger chiddush. Why are you telling me if a person has two trees, he can bring Bikurim? Tell me a bigger chiddush. Even if he doesn't have two trees, he can bring Bikurim, right? Says the Rashbam, Mishum Rabbana Nakalahu. We lost because of the Chachamim that you don't bring, even with two trees. Deal Reb Meir, feel Be'ilan Echad. Even with one tree, Shein Le Karka Mevi V'Koira. Reb Meir holds even with one tree and no car and what? And you don't have karka, you would bring. Why? Back in the Gemara, Memai, Midiktani Mishnah Yisera, when you're learning this total extraneous Mishnah in Bikurim, right? Good. That's the Chiddush. Okay, guys, let's Chazariba. We see from our Mishnah, Machloik is two trees, whether you get the karka or not. Mashma Ebron holds one tree, you won't. Good. Mashma Ebron holds one tree, you would not get the karka. Good. Says the Mishnah in Bikurim, two trees, says Reb Meir you bring, says the Chacham you don't bring. You know, you make, why? Because like Reb Meir you have karka, like the Chacham you don't have karka. Why do you have to tell me that in Mishnah Bikurim? Says Reb Shmuel, says Reb Yehuda name is Shmuel, you tell me you use Chiddush. You're telling me that even if you have one tree where there's no karka, you can bring it. Just like you can buy it. Just like the tree, like again, the tree is, you buy it, it's yours. The tree, it grows, it's yours. You have no karka, you can bring it. That's what he wants to time. It's a huge Chiddush. Guys, you hear? Yeah, that's the Chiddush. So why do you learn two trees in the Mishnah in Bikurim? Say it openly, even one tree. And the Chiddush is that even the Chachamim, two trees also not. That's a bigger Chiddush. So you learn the Chiddush of two trees to the Chachamim. That's all we saw so far. So the Mishnah in Bikurim is adding that. According to Reb Meir, even one tree, or even if you buy it, you could bring Bikurim. That's what he wants to say. Says the Gemara. Michdi. That's one. Tanale Diesh Le Karka. Pshita, then maybe Koira. Once you told me you have karka, it's pasha, you bring and read. Read the Gemara, V'kasiv asher tavi me'artzecha. The pasuk says that what? Bilakachta me'reishis kol pri adama asher tavi me'artzecha, that you bring from your land. So if you're buying it, or if you have one tree, it's not your land. So you're telling me in Svara, Shmuel, the extraneous Mishnah is telling me a din, but it doesn't go ahead and fit in with the pasuk, because the pasuk says, "Asher tavi me artzecha." Touch the words, "Me artzecha," from your land. If you buy it, or if you have one tree that doesn't have karka, it's not your land. And for the Gemara, "Hahu lemuute chutz laaretz." That's the Mimaya chutz laaretz. Bez Hashem, guys, we'll get back to this. Okay, "Hahu lemuute chutz laaretz," meaning that artzecha means your land, doesn't mean yours per se. It means the Medinas Yisrael. It means Eretz Yisrael. It means your land. It's not speaking about the individual. It's speaking about Jewish land, but it's not speaking about what? Vaksiv ad Mascha, Reishis pri ad Mascha. It says Reishis pri ad Mascha. Ad Mascha is mashma your Adama. It says the Gemara Lamute ad Mesakum. Let's say you would buy it from a guy in Eretz Yisrael, it would not be Chayiv and Bikurim. But if you buy it from a Jew, it would be. So, May Artzecha means Eretz Yisrael, but not specifically you. Ad Mascha means a Jew and not a guy. Ivak Siv, it says Asher Nasata Li. Again, the pasuk we began with Avata Hine Vesi Esreishis Pri Adam Asher Nasata Li. Now, now you're telling me if you bought it, that's not the land you gave to me. Says the Gemara, the Yavle Zuze Vizavne Bahu. You went ahead and you gave him money and you bought the fruit. So buying the fruit is tantamount to what? Considered your land. Buying the fruit is considered tantamount to your lands. Okay? So we have Shmuel's din. We had kashas on Shmuel. We had kashas on Shmuel from Psukim, and each one has been defended by Rabbi Yehuda. Each one's been defended. If it's Artzecha, Eretz Yisrael, Ad Mascha, your land and not a guy's land, right? Ashenasat Ali. Now it's very interesting, guys. Notice he didn't say. It doesn't say Adama Rashis. It doesn't say Rashis. It doesn't say Prihadama Ashenasat Ali. Why does it say the word Adama? It says Ashenasat Ali. It's very funny. Shouldn't it say Adama? The main guy's word is from the Adama, not from what? From Nasat Ali. The main word is from Adama. It's not from what? Nasat Ali. Correct? You left out the word Adama. Okay. Masiv Rabba Hakoina Elon Echad. B'toich Shel Chaveroi, if someone buys a field, one tree in another person's field, maybe he brings ve'ena koire if he shloi kona karka divrei meya tiyufta. So that knocks a shmuel out of the water. Clearly, we say that if you don't own the land, you can't go ahead and read and all the psukim. We have other drushes for all the psukim. Okay, guys. So we wanted to say, fellas, just let's chazariba, guys, eye contact. You wanted to say the fact that it says what a second mishnah in Bikurim to go ahead and be machadish that Rabbi would say even one tree and you don't have karka, you could bring it and read. And we asked a bunch of questions, and now we're going in and saying no, that's upshlag, that's out. Okay, it's out. I want to go back and address one thing. It said ad mascha. We said the lashon of tovi me artzecha, and artzecha you said bimuti chutz laaretz. Guys, truma. Do you give truma in America? Why? Because it's a mitzvah that's totally ba'aretz. It's totally dependent upon Eretz Yisrael. Do we bring bikurim from America? Why would you say? You say the same thing. You'd say it's a mitzvah that's dependent upon Eretz Yisrael. Correct? Read Tosfos. Why do I need a pasuk of Artzecha to tell me your land versus Chutz Laaretz? Why would you think that you're chayiv in Bikurim, that you need a pasuk to tell me you're not chayiv? Isn't it a mitzvah to live ba'aretz? It's a very, very strong question, guys. You hear? Again, just like you don't bring truma from America because it's a mitzvah that's tluya ba'aretz, I would assume Bikurim has the same status. So why would I need a pasuk to tell me you don't bring Bikurim from Chutz Laaretz? Of course you don't. If it grows in America, there's no chiyuv, there's no kedusha to it. It's not like, it's just like truma. Says Tosfos, halumuti Chutz Laaretz. The third Tosfos down. V'hachinami darish beperek reishis. I guess we have the same achloik, the same drasha there in the perek in Chulin. Artzecha halumuti Chutz Laaretz. That the din of reishis, I guess, is only one in Eretz Yisrael. V'tema amai itzrich miuta. Why do I need the pasuk to exclude it? Ha'amar b'sleif perek hamid kedushin kol mitzvah shehi toluya ba'aretz. Any mitzvah that is dependent upon Eretz Yisrael, ein leheges ela ba'aretz. It's only noig in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah. So why would I need a pasuk to tell me otherwise, guys? You need a pasuk to tell me. Since I would think one way, I need a pasuk to tell me the other way. Why would I think the way that bikurim you be chayiv? That I need a pasuk to tell me you're not chayiv. V'yesh mefarshim mishum de bikurim iskish lebasa b'chalav. There's a hekish between bikurim and basa chalav because it says in Parshas Mishpatim reishis bikuri ad mascha, and then it says leisavashel gdiba chalev. So you would think just like basa b'chalav is in America, it's in Chutz Laaretz, and it's mukish, it's in the same pasuk. Who adin bikurim would have the same din, and therefore I need a pasuk of Chutz of Artzecha to tell me no. So in other words, even though it's a mitzvah tli ba'aretz, there is a factor. There's a mitigating factor to say you should be chayiv in Chutz Laaretz to bikurim, since it's mukish to basa b'chalav. Okay, that's one teretz. And the mechilta, they make the hekesh v'salka daitach. Okay, that's the first teretz. The second teretz, guys, is a bomb. Ularash banera, the loichashivi bikurim mitzvah tluya ba'aretz. Bikurim is not considered a mitzvah tluya ba'aretz. It's not similar to truma meiser at all. In other words, guys, when something grows, truma, it's asa. When bikurim grows, it's not asa. U'meiser v'chala. It's not similar to truma, meiser, and chala. The hasam guf ha'peris mechuyavim b'truma the tevel ninu v'asurim b'achila. Fellas, that's where farm is. We're going ahead. We're harvesting our crop. The whole time it's in the field, you could eat an achila saroi. Once you have a gemar malacha, what's it called? It's tevel. Unless you separate it, unless you tithe it, you can't eat it. Even a kohen can't eat it. Even a kohen can't eat if it's not separated, right? Pirish, the produce itself is asa. The produce itself is kadosh. Therefore, since it's the produce itself is asa, it's considered tului ba'aretz, dependent upon Eretz Yisrael. Ava bikurim ein achiyav tali b'peiris. Bikurim, the chiyav is not dependent upon peiris. Ela ba'adam, it's contingent upon the person. The ein nesarim ba'achila, it's not asa. Afal pishlei hifish mehem bikurim. Fellas, you could eat all the 7 fruits of Eretz Yisrael even before you bring the bikurim. There's a mitzvah to bring bikurim. You should bring it. But it's not pshat until you bring it, you can't eat it. You could always eat it. By tevel, you can't eat it until you mafish the ma'aser rishon, the ma'aser sheni. You can't go ahead and eat it. It's asa. Bikurim is never asa. There's a mitzvah to bring bikurim. Says Taisvis, a chiddush nifla, that what? You would think that what? Since it's b'chutz la'aretz, it's a chiyuv on the person. It's a chiyuv on us. It's not tluya ba'aretz. And therefore you be chayiv to go ahead and bring bikurim from America. Kimash malon me artzacha, only from Eretz Yisrael. So it's with the kasha is removed. You thought that what? Bikurim is the same as truma. It's a mitzvah that's contingent upon Eretz Yisrael. It's not a mitzvah that's contingent upon Eretz Yisrael. It's a mitzvah that's only in Eretz Yisrael. It's a mitzvah that you could only perform there, but it's a mitzvah on the person. It's like wearing tzitzis. It's a chiyuv on the gavra. You have a chiyuv to bring bikurim, but not because the bikurim is kodesh. When you say you have a mitzvah to separate truma, it's because you can't eat it until you do. It's a huge difference between the two. Good, guys. It's a nice chiddush. Now, just take this whole thing a step farther. I'm going to share with you in a second a Beis Halevi. If it says over here, let's go through it again. It says Ma'artzucha hulamute chutz la'aretz. V'ksiv ad mascha reishis pri ad mascha mute ad mas akum. That if it's in Eretz Yisrael, it grows in the bishus of an akum. There's no chiyuv on bikurim on that fruit. V'ksiv asher nasato li. Now it should say adama asher nasato li. And then what's the answer? You gave him money. How does giving money help? If it's the din in the land, how does that help? You gave money. You gave money that what? So now it becomes yours. Beis Halevi, the second chelik in Shilas and Shuvas Nun, Shuva Nun. Maksha, he asks, why did it say nasata li? It should say ha'adama shenasata li. V'oid ma'atiris shenasata li kesef. Pasuk kasev adama. What do you give money? What kind of teretz is that? Umitaretz al pi Yerushalmi. Shalom mea pasuk ashenasata li. The Yerushalmi says the Beis Halevi from the pasuk ashenasata li. V'lo shenatalti miatzmi. Bikurim, fellas, is only from a land that Hashem gave to you, not at a land that you took. It's only from a land that Hashem gave to you, not from a land that you took. Shalachein, therefore, ein mevim bikurim me'ever ayarden. You don't bring bikurim from Ruvain, Gad, right? Ever ayarden. Bachru lahem me'atzmam, because that wasn't the land that Hashem gave them. They chose that land. Varikoina min ashuk hu noitel me'atzmai. And therefore, if a person goes ahead and he buys something from the shuk, he is what? He's taking it for himself. So that's not Hashem Asata Li. If you buy it, Hashem didn't give it to you, you bought it. If Hashem gives you the money to purchase it, Nikra Asata Li. It's called Asher Asata Li. So therefore, it didn't bring the Adama, because the Yerushalmi the point is that Bikurim is only when Asher Asata Li, but not when you took it yourself. Not when you took it yourself. And the Chiddush over here, therefore, was, even though it's money, since Hashem gave you the money, it's considered Hashem gave it to you. It's going to answer the Toisvis Kasha about Chutz La'aretz. Why do you need a pasuk to mimayit Chutz La'aretz? So what did Toisvis answer? It's two turutzim. Either because of the hekesh to basa b'chalav, or because of what? It's a mitzvah Adam. It's not a mitzvah tluya baretz. Here's another teretz. Varizu mitzvah tluya baretz. With this yisoid that it has to be the land that Hashem gave you, we're answering the question. Let's say Bnei Yisrael would expand the borders of Eretz Yisrael. The kivush rabim, shedina keretz Yisrael, leroiv dinei Torah. If we want to expand the boundaries, and it's not the kivush of an individual, like we want, it's the rabbin gets together and they expand Eretz Yisrael. Would you be chayiv in bikurim or not? Achle bikurim tzrichin asatali, v'loishin nistalti me'atzmi. So therefore, another teretz to the kasha. Teretz to the kasha. Why would you need a pasuk to tell me that you don't be from Chutz La'aretz? Why would you? So it's not a kasha at all. It's not a kasha at all, because I would think that if I expand the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael, it's considered Eretz Yisrael, and that was saying no. You need a satali. It's a land that Hashem gave to you. If you went ahead and expanded the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael, that's not the land that Hashem gave to you. A beautiful, beautiful. So again, just a whole piece together about Bikurim. It's amazing. This is a major sugya in Bikurim that is tucked away, as Sully Bornstein likes to say, tucked away here in Pei Aleph in Baba Basra. Again, the Yisayda Toisvis, either the Hekesh to Bas B'chalav, second teretz, it's a mitzvah that's chiyuvis on the person. Beautiful raya, the contrast between it and Truma, and the teretz of the Beis HaLevi, that you would think that maybe you expand there to Israel, you could, so therefore you need another pasuk and tell me that Hashem asata li, that Hashem gave to me and not that I took. The only there you chayiv not. So Tosfos kasha would not be a kasha at all, because again, according to Tosfos, that won't be Chutz La'aretz anymore, guys. That wouldn't be Chutz La'aretz. That would be Eretz Yisrael proper. So you need Hashem asata li to tell me, despite the fact that that's Eretz Yisrael, no, right? Because Chutz La'aretz wouldn't do the job, because it's not Chutz La'aretz anymore. So you need a Nasata li to tell me, since Hashem didn't give it to you, but you took it, you won't be chayiv. Very good.
On the second teretz that you gave, on the Gavra by Bikurim, does it go back to the famous the Brisker thing concerning the Chefza and the Gavra, in terms of Bikurim would be on the Gavra as opposed to Truma, that's the Chefza, would be the same analogy to that?
Yeah, I think it's a good analogy, but there is a chiyuv to imafish Truma, but it's and Bikurim, once it's separated, it belongs to it's a matnas kahuna hesh. You won't be able to eat it. You won't be able to eat it. In other words,
right? I got it.
You won't be able to eat the Bikurim. It belongs to the kohen. So I'm not sure we could apply it over here.
Right. Okay.
But I think it's a very. I think the Tosfos it's a nice to tell. The Beis HaLevi is Moiridik. Beis HaLevi is Moiridik, because you would think again it's not Chutz La'aretz. So therefore you would bring Bikurim from there. So you needed to Lake Tzu Adam Hashem Satali V'Lein Talti Mi'atzmi to go ahead and add that Knech, because Chutz La'aretz wouldn't do the job. It's not Chutz La'aretz anymore. You expanded the boundaries. So therefore, I needed a little Knech more to tell me no. Guys, it's Geshmak, no? When are you supposed to say no? It's not Geshmak. I love asking you the question that you have no choice but to answer yes. No, but it's very, right? It's very enjoyable. Okay, says the Gemara Vaita. It says, I very Geshmak. Maser Rabba. Okay, we slugged him up. Amalei Rav Shimon ben Al-Yakum, the Rebbe Lazar. Says Rav Shimon ben Al-Yakum to Rebbe Lazar on the base, right? My time with the Reb Meir be'ilan, echad, my time with the Rabbanim b'shnei ilanos. Now, guys, what did Reb Meir say by one tree? Guys, let's go back. Why do you go ahead? Go back. 4 lines to the bottom. Hakoina ilan echad b'toich shel chaverai mevi v'ein koira. You bring, but you don't read. What did the Chacham say by 2? You bring, but you don't read. Why are you bringing? If it's not your karka, why are you bringing? Guys, if it's not your karka, why are you bringing? Says the Gemara, my time there may be lan echad, my time there manim b'shnei ilanos. So Amaloi, so Rebbe Lazar answered Reb Shimon ben El Yaakov. Rebbe Lazar answered Reb Shimon ben El Yaakov. right? He said to him, Dava shevishonim loy amru baitam tishaleni lebeis hamedrash kedei levaisheni. It seems that Rav Shimon ben Eliyakim asked him in front of many people, and this question had been around, and he embarrassed him. Amar Rabba, says Rabba, my kushya, what's the kasha? What's the kasha? Why didn't the Rishonim know the answer to this? Dilma, Reb Meir be'ilan echad, svuki mesafkale. It wasn't shot you don't have karka. Maybe he was in doubt whether he had karka. Rabbanim b'shnei lana svuki mesafkale. And the Chachamim are in doubt. So if that's the case, you're bringing the Bikurim because of doubt. You're bringing the Bikurim because of doubt. What's the kasha, guys? If you know for sure it's not your land, why in the world are you bringing it? You can't say Ad Mascha, Artzacha, Adama Shena Satali. You didn't give me any Adama. Says Rabba, I'll tell you. You know what? The Shiler is. It's not Shiler, you know, for sure, unequivocally, they don't have land. They're in doubt whether they had land or not. Umi Mesafkale, Vakatani Lefishle Kona Karka Divreb Meya. The reason, guys, go back to again, what does it say? Back on the Pei Aleph Amid Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. Lefishle Kona Karka Divreb Meya. So how can you say that there's suffix? Reb Meir is saying outright, because you didn't acquire the karka, correct? He's saying it outright. So what does the Gemara answer to that? Right? Ema, say, Shemalei Kana Karka. Just say, maybe you didn't kind of karka. He's in doubt. Maybe you weren't kind of karka. So now, this is going to bring into a bunch of questions. So you bring a bikurim that may not be, and you can't read the parsha, right? Now, let's say it's not bikurim. Then bikurim is pata trumas umaisa. If it's not bikurim, you chayv trumas umaisa. Bikurim is kodesh. You can bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. If it's not bikurim, then you can't bring it into the Beis Hamikdash. It's chul and bazara. So these are all the questions. Again, here's the setup. Question: Light Reb Meir, 1 tree. Light Chacham, 2 trees. Maybe vein a kaira. Fred the Gemara says Reb Shimon ben Eliyakim to Reb Elazar, why are you bringing it all? Says Reb Shimon Elazar, he asked me a question that the Rishonim. Says Rabbi, no, I'll tell you what the question is. Maybe the reason they're bringing, because maybe it is their karka. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But not for sure. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Okay, but that Gemara says, I have a bunch of questions then. Says the Gemara. Let's say what? It's not your karka. It's not bikurim. If it's not your bikurim, the kamayel chulin la'azara, and you're bringing chulin into the azara. You're bringing chulin into the azara. Tosfos brings, fellas, chulin the azara is only when an action has to be done to it. You're bringing it as a korban, or you're waving it, right? And bikurim is waved, that the kohen waves it with the basket. But stam is like to wear, the Tosfos brings, a kohen could wear big day choil in the azara. How could a Yisrael enter the azara to do smicha? If you can't be chulin in the azara, how could he be wearing his weekday clothing, or he's even the Shabbos clothing, if it's not big day kodesh, correct? Elamah, you only say this yisoid of chulin b'azara when some type of action is associated with it. Good? It's a good yisoid to know. The kamayli lazara, seg demara, the magdash lahu. You said it's kodesh. You took the bikurim, you say, if this is bikurim, great. If it's not bikurim, it's kodesh. That's kedushas damin. Fred the Gemara of a boy mechlinu, the kohen has to eat it. And if that's kedushas damin and it's not bikurim, it's called meila behegdish. Guys, again, if it's not bikurim, if it's just kodesh, it's kodesh kedushas damin, and he eats it, then the kohen will be moil behegdish. Says Gemara the parak lahu. Before you go ahead, you magdish it, so it's not chulin be'azara, and then you redeem it. So once you redeem it, the kohen can eat it in manavshach. If it's bikurim, it's bikurim, and if it's not bikurim, then what? Then it's oiskalaced fruit. The dilma lav bikurim ninu v'kam mafkalahu mitrumas umaisa. Maybe it's not bikurim, and therefore by bringing it and you're not separating trumas umaisa from it, because as we said, I think they say that bikurim is called trumas yodcha, so it's called truma, so you don't have to take truma off it. So if you're bringing it and you're in doubt, maybe it's not bikurim. It's not bikurim. Maybe you're being mafka. You're being mafka. You're taking off the kedusha of eating tevel. Says the word mafish lahu. You took off trumas amaisa from it. You took off trumas amaisa. So this ukimta of where maybe ve'ena kaira is speaking. Guys, listen to this. Maybe ve'ena kaira. What did you do? A, you were magdashit to take off the problem of chulin bazara. B, you were poida it to take off the kedusha so the kohen can eat it. C, you were mafish trumas umaisa in order not to, because maybe if it's not bikurim, you'd be chayiv with trumas umaisa. Now, bishleim a truma gedoyla yavle lekayin. Very good. You can give the truma gedoyla to a kohen. Maisa sheni nami yavle lekayin. You give maisa sheni to a kohen. Maisa ani nami yavle lekayin. Maisa ani nami, you can go ahead and give it to a kohen. Ela maisa rishon the Levi who the maisa rishon goes to the Levi, and you're treating this like bikurim, which totally goes to the kohen. So you're ripping off the Levi. Says Gemara, leman yavle. And for Gemara the yavle lekayin, you can give maisa rishon to the kohen. Kereb Elazar ben Azariah, the Tanya truma gedoyla lekayin, maisa rishon Levi. I don't know if Rabbi Akiva or Meya. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer. Maisa rishon af lekayin. My solution can even go to the kohen. My solution could even go out to the kohen. He likes too that.
When they came back, second bias, the Levium didn't come back, so they didn't get.
Yeah, that's the kanas. That's with this Mishnah coming before that. In other words, that's the kanas.
That they don't have to get
it. Well, that's the kanas. Okay. If you look at the Rashbam brings it. My solution the kohen says the Rashbam v'loy Levi. This is speaking after Ezra canceled him. Even Kahanim, the Mashma. The Be'esim Rabbi Mekaymas Nikru Kahanim Leviim. 24 places. So it's like you said, Baruch. Just to Lake Tzu, guys, we have machloikis by Maisa Sheni throughout Shas, whether it's Momin Gavaya or Momin Bailam. Can you be Mekadesh Nisu and Maisa Sheni? Guys, we had this many times. I'm just giving you an example. Light Rabbi Yehuda, you could be, because it's mom and hedyet. Light Reb Meir, you can't, because it's mom and gavaya. It's mom and gavaya. So how in the world over here, like Reb Meir, you're saying that what? If Maisa goes to the kohen, Maisa only goes, maybe it's not, how can you give it to the kohen? How can you just give it? So he said he must be paid it beforehand, because if you look, it's a long bach over here. So the Gam came poida Maisa Sheni, vakach nes the kohen. First he was paid it, and then he gave it to the kohen. Again, you can't go ahead and use mom and gavaya for bimakadosh nisha, nor can you give it as a present to the kohen. Bikurim is a present to the kohen. If Maisa Sheni is mom and kedusha, and you're telling me this is like Reb Meir, who says maybe veinu koira, and you're telling me that what? You give the Maisa Sheni to a kohen, you can give the Maisa Sheni to a kohen. Just like you can't be Mekadesh Nisha with it, it's not your money to give to a kohen. So he just likes through the Bach, you must be speaking, like Reb Meir, there was a second Padilla over here, you were paid it as well. You were paid it a Maisa Sheni. Okay, anyway. Vidilma Bikurim Ninu Uboy Kriya. Maybe it's Bikurim and you have to read the Parsha. On that, the Gemara says, Kriya loy ma'keves. Kriya is not ma'akiv. Kriya is not a problem. That you don't go ahead, what? And Bikaira, that doesn't seem to be an issue. Fredumar Veloy, Vamrab Zera, Kol Roy Labila, ain't Bila Ma'keves, by Ushainer Labila, Bila Ma'keves, by. Okay, this is going to come up many times. In order, it seems to be that Mincha Gedoyla, there's a large pot that's 61. 61, you're supposed to mix it, but if you don't mix it, it's okay because you could mix it. But 60 wouldn't work. Why? Because 60 you can't mix. In other words, when is Kriya not a problem if you don't say it, but you could say it? When is Kriya not ma'akiv is when you could say it, but you don't say it. But where you can't say it, it should be ma'akiv. That's the word from Bila. Color roy labila, anything that's roy to be mixed, ain't bila ma'kevis, then it's not a problem. Ushain roy labila, but it's not roy to be mixed, bila ma'kevis by. So what? So over here, you're telling me kriya should be ma'akiv. Why? Because you can't say it. And for the Gemara, and this is a big lumdis, the Avad Lahu Rabbi Yossi Ber Chanina, he did like Rabbi Yossi Ber Chanina, the Amar, who's of the opinion Batzran, it was he harvested it. V'shagron b'yad shliach, and he sent it in the hands of the shliach. Or Batzran, this is the way the Rashbam learns. Taisus doesn't learn this way. Rashbam learns this way. Batzran, he harvested it. Umeis shliach, and then he sent it with a shliach, and the shliach died. B'derech, and now he went ahead and he finished the job. When the shliach died, he finished the job. Okay. In all these cases, maybe ve'ena kaira. Why? Because two people did the job. In the first case, he harvested it. Who brought it to the Azara? The shliach. In the second case, the shliach, even if the shliach would have harvested it and he died and he finished the job, it was bought by two people. Then you bring it, but you don't read. My taima, the chsiv, bila kachta. The pasuk says, the pasuk says, bila kachta mereshus kol pri adama shetavi mi'artzcha Hashem lekecha loisen lecha v'samta batena v'halachta, and you should bring it el hamakam asher yifra Hashem. So you need two things. This is according to the Rashbam. You need vila kachta, that you harvest it, the evesa, and that you bring it. The same person who harvests has to be the same person who brings it. Good. If your shliach would go ahead and bring it, again, the Rashbam is of the opinion that shliach in all cases cannot say it because it's not his land. The bottom line is, if he harvests and he brings it, or vice versa, then you won't bring. Where the lekicha and the ba has to be what? At the same people, the halekha, and you don't have it. So it comes out, this whole Gemara of Mevi ve'ena kaira is speaking in such a mitzias with so many ukimtis. Again, to avoid the problems, the pitfall of chulin bazara, to avoid the problem of me'ila, to avoid the problem of trumas and maisa, to avoid the problem of kriya, you need to go ahead and zetzain ukimta shein kamahu, and only then you bring it and you don't read. So in the final analysis, who's bringing it? Either him after the shliach died, or the shliach's bringing it after he harvested it. That's according to Rashbam. One second. Psukininu. These are psukim. Psukininu. These are psukim. Likri. Let him read it, guys. You open next week and you go Mavis Sedra. You open it. You read it. So that's the big spritz. Let him read it. Read it. I'll tell you a big difference. When you're reading it, you're not going ahead and applying it to the parsha. You're learning the parsha bikurim. You're reading the pasuk. But where you go ahead and have the bikurim in front of the kayin, and you're going to say it, then it's not going on parshas kisavai. Then it's going on that pesach is in front of you, and you can't say that. You can't say that. Look at Rashbam. Mishan the michse keshikra. Shrei b'shvil abos bikurim kakari. He's only reading it because of reading it. B'shem alav b'karka shaloi gidloi. Maybe it didn't grow up in his karka. Maybe it didn't belong to him. Become a shakre. Uksiv doibish shakarim lo yichavin leneged einai. You can't be connected to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Aval k'shakari b'toira lo yimixi k'shikra. When you go ahead and read it from the Torah, it doesn't go ahead and it appears if you're lying. So that's one reason you can't read it, unless, right? That's why you had to send it with a shliach. Another teretz, Rav Meshashia Bereder Rav Chia Amar, Dilma Osi Lafko Inu Mitrumas Maisa. Maybe in the future you may take off Trumas Maisa. What does that mean? Says the Rashbam. Man dechazi the Koryalahu Kibikurim Vadoyim. Those people who see this person reading by a suffix, whether it's bikurim at all, bikurim ke'elu, when he'll have bikurim like this, la yafish mehen truma, he won't go ahead and be mafish truma. The kasava bikurim v'adoyin, he's going to hell its vaday bikurim. In other words, he's not going to know. He's going to say that, you know what, you don't have to be mafish truma semaisa because it's bikurim. But in fact, you have to be. He's not going to know the lumdis that this guy is mafish truma semaisa. He's going to say, oh, it's a suffix. He brought it. He read it, so me also. I'll bring it also, and I won't be mafish trumas maisa. Memela, we don't let him read. By not reading, it's not going to go ahead and lead to this problem, michsek shikra, or that in future people might mistakenly not take off trumas maisa in this situation where you're supposed to take off trumas maisa.